Hello and welcome to Just a Guy with your social educator, your LLB, your loony left bully.
That's right. It's me, Mike D, Mike Duckerberg. I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully you guys were safe last night. You had a lot of fun and you celebrated the New Year 2025 coming in. Looking forward to a lot of new things coming up this year for myself and Just a Guy. We're actually going to start bringing on some guests and hopefully we'll have some good names for y'all. So that way you just don't have to listen to me all the time, right? So what we're going to do today, guys, is we are going to take a look at, we are going to take a look at what's coming up in 2025. I don't know if any of you were aware, but they've been pushing the bird flu here pretty hard. Not here in Texas, but here in the United States is what I mean. So we're looking at a possible new scamdemic coming along in 2025. So everybody knows the bird flu has been around for a little while now. It killed quite a few people there about a decade and a half ago, and now starting early this year, really ramping it up, going into 2025. Just so happens to be when President Trump takes office, we got a possible new scamdemic coming. So the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, revealed it's monitoring a number of red flags that suggest bird flu could become the world's next pandemic. Their words, not mine. They're already starting to look at it. They're already starting to say that this could become the world's next pandemic. All right. So, and they said they saw just in December the first severe human bird flu case in the United States that was reported in Louisiana. Okay. They look at the genetic analysis and found that the virus is mutated, which isn't uncommon. All viruses mutate pretty much. I mean, look how many different types of flu there are. Look at COVID. All these viruses, they all seem to mutate. Okay. Now they say the cause or concern with this mutation is that an H5N1A virus can develop changes during the clinical course of human infection. So what they're saying is right now you can't catch bird flu or human H5N1 virus from human to human, but they're saying that during the clinical course studies of human infection, it's starting to go in that route. So in the CDC's words exactly, they're saying that the virus is adapting to spread more easily from animals to people, they added. Now, they're looking at the virus changing. And they're saying this is a possibility for it now to go human to human. All right? I want you to remember there's the same CDC that told you 6 foot separation and just a few weeks of masking up is going to get rid of the COVID. This is the same CDC that lied to you. All right? Now, none of the U.S. cases show evidence of human-to-human transmission. They've all occurred in isolation after exposure to infected animals. So even the severe case in Louisiana wasn't human to human. So they're looking at this virus mutating, but looking at the mutations, they're assuming that it's going to be easier for it to spread to human to human. Now this is the same CDC, this is the same governmental agency, just like WHO, the World Health Organization, and Dr. Fauci, that stripped your rights away because they wanted control. They wanted to be able to control you. And again, like I said, their words, they suggested the bird flu could become the world's next pandemic. They're preparing you for it. So when it becomes a pandemic, you better shut up, ship out, and do what you're told. That's what they're preparing for you here in 2025. You notice when 8 p.m. Joe was in control, I mean, they tried the monkeypox thing, but they didn't go very far. They really didn't push a pandemic. They didn't push a scamdemic because they already had Biden and the rest of his people in their back pocket. He was going to do whatever they wanted him to do anyway. Underneath President Trump, you got somebody that's going to not just fall in line. Right now, you ask me, I think he did a terrible job with COVID the first time around. But you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to hope that he's learned his lesson. Because as much as I love President Trump, you can see I got a banner behind him, all right? And I was up in Michigan for months helping the president get elected, away from my family. So I absolutely love what the president is looking to do. But if President Trump buys into the scamdemic, I'm going to have to ask him to step down. Because obviously he didn't learn his lesson there. Right? You got RFK Jr. in there now. Not yet, but he will be. You need to listen to people like that. So I'm not saying he's gonna fall for it. I think President Trump is smart enough to know that what they did last time, with all the lies, the cover-ups, and everything else, he's not going to fall for it. Okay? Now, so far, since March 2024, there have been around 65 bird flu cases. So there's 65 so far from March to December, and this is the possible next pandemic, the next scamdemic. This is it. 65 cases. That's it. They're calling it. Right? They've been in California, Colorado, Iowa, Louisiana, Michigan, Missouri, Oregon, Texas, Washington, and Wisconsin. Okay? Most cases are in California with 37 reported cases. Now, at this time, Governor Newsom, who loved COVID-19 because he could tell you where to shop, when to shop, how to go outside, what to wear, how long you could be outside, all that. He loved to be in dictator Newsom. He's already got the state of emergency declared. Right now, he's saying that it's so that they can be better prepared if this pandemic or scamdemic actually occurs. No, he wants it already declared so that way he can tell you guys, you're locked in and I'm in control. Because if you remember going back to COVID-19, he was one of the biggest perpetrators of governmental power and shutting people out. You couldn't go anywhere, but he could go to a restaurant and go get food. You couldn't go anywhere, but Nancy Pelosi could go get her hair done. As long as Governor Newsom has control, has you guys wrapped around his little fingers, and tells you exactly what you can and cannot do, the man is happy. So he's already declared a state of emergency with 37 cases. That's only about 3 a month. And not a single one has been from human to human interaction. So I just want you guys to know, coming into 2025, this is something we're looking at, right? Now, because bird flu has been around, they already have 2 vaccines here in the United States for H5N1 ready to go. Now, they can't be approved and put out until the FDA approves them, which we've already seen the COVID-19 shots. The new one, if you guys have watched me before, I went over the lack of scientific data, the lack of scientific testing, and a new COVID-19 shot. In fact, the scientific method now by the FDA has been declare a hypothesis, skip the data, and assume a conclusion. Because if you remember, the COVID-19 shot that's coming out this year has no clinical data on any humans, didn't release the animals that they tested it on. They could have tested it on fleas and grasshoppers for all we know, because that's not available to us anymore. And their conclusion was assuming that since it's so much like the other COVID vaccines, that it should act and give similar outcomes. So there's no scientific data there. It was all based on assumptions. So the FDA still approved it, by the way. And a lot of you guys are out there getting these new COVID-19 shots that have no scientific research done to them, and the conclusion is based on the assumption that, you know what, we know what the last one did, so this one's probably going to be the same. So it's going to be the same FDA that's going to approve these vaccines for the H5N1. So you think the government's worried about getting the FDA to pass it? You might want to get it passed before January 20th, though, because I have a feeling that RFK Jr. is going to really be putting them up against the wall and approval of FDA vaccines. So if you're going to get it done there, Big Joe, big guy, get your 10%, get it done now. Now, the CDC and its partners in the U.S. government are planning on a vaccine program already for the bird flu. That's not a surprise. So the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, and the U.S. government are already talking to each other about a bird flu vaccine program. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's pretty similar to the COVID-19 one, where if you don't get it, you can't work. I don't know if they can go as far as if you don't get it, you can't go outside. I don't know, but that backfired in a lot of lawsuits. Even some of the, if you don't get the COVID-19 vaccine shot, you can't work. Lately, they've been giving a lot of money back due to lawsuits for firing people unjustly. So we'll see. But point is, I worked once, and the Communist Socialist Marxist Party loves to pull pages out of the same playbook. So why wouldn't they go right back to it, right? Now let's check in the severity of these. Like I said, they had their first severe case in Louisiana just this last month in December. All the previous U.S. cases, which again told you about 65 of them, right? Generally mild. Okay, nothing bad. Now the patient in Louisiana, that's 65, that had the severe case, he is older than 65 years old. He already has underlying medical problems, and he's in critical condition. Well, you have common cold if you're elderly and have underlying medical problems, can put you in critical condition too. So, not saying that the bird flu can't kill you. When it first arrived here in the early 2000s, the mortality rate was almost 50%. But the mutation, a lot of times when things mutate, they get weaker. Not all the time, but oftentimes they get weaker. So, only 1 out of the 65 so far has gone above a status of mild, and the person was elderly and had underlying conditions already. Right? Well, I'm not trying to be a dick, but when you're elderly and you have underlying conditions, and you get any sort of disease, it's usually going to hit you harder than if you were younger and were in physical fit. Okay? That's why I tell everybody, keep up with physical fitness and your health. I don't care how old you are. Your health is important from the day you're born to the day you die. Okay? I'm not saying you're going to go out and hit the gym every day, but watch what you eat and exercise a little bit. Keep yourself in shape, right? Now, worldwide, there have been about 1,000 cases of illness from the bird flu H5N1 virus since 2003. So that's about 46 and a half a year. So we're a little bit above that, but it's not horrible. So we had 65 in that month in 2024. But if you're averaging it out, it's 46 and a half. I'm sure some years there were only 20 cases, other years there were 60 to 80 cases. So we're not incredibly high. It's not like we tripled it and went to like 150 or 200 cases. Okay. Now, I don't know if anybody remembers this name. Her name is Dr. Lena Wen. W-E-N. Right? When COVID-19 came out, she actually advocated the imprisonment of individuals who refused the COVID-19 vaccine. People like myself, my entire family, there were thousands of more out there, just like you, that didn't want to get it because they heard that it could cause heart issues. They heard that the testing done on it was very minimal and improper. They heard all the stuff that was going on with these vaccines. And right away, if you see the government pushing something through, I'm a little skeptical as it is. Right? So she advocated that people like me, people like some of you out there, should be in prison for not taking the vaccine. fits right along with this communist socialist ideology there, doesn't it? Now she went on. This was back in September 2021. She went on that. I guess we'll call him a reporter, Chris Cuomo. Okay, did an interview. She said, and I quote, "We need to start looking at the choice to remain unvaccinated the same way we look at driving while intoxicated. You have the option not to get vaccinated if you want, but then you can't go out in public." So right there, she didn't go into the whole imprisonment right there, but it's alluding to it. What you're saying is, fine, you don't have to be vaccinated, but you're not allowed to step out of your house. And if you step out of your house, we're going to arrest you. So this is this. Now she was on CNN reporter. She helped out with the COVID-19 stuff and all that, right? So she's back at it though. I mean, why wouldn't she? This is another opportunity. This is a possible pandemic. CDC said so. This is a possible pandemic. Why would not? I'm going to go like this. Dr. Wen jump on and come back, right? She did a CBS interview earlier this week, and she urged the Biden administration to rush distribution of the bird flu vaccines and testing right away because she wants people to start getting vaccines. She's back at it. She's the vaccine queen. She wants to make sure that the 65 or 70 vaccines that you have to have now aren't enough. You have to have a bird flu vaccine. So Dr. Wen is back at it on CBS, taking another 15 minutes of fame to tell everybody in the Biden administration, let's hurry up, get this FDA vaccines approved, and let's get this ready for distribution ASAP. And thank God President Trump is coming into office January 20th because he'd probably be in Biden's ear or the Bordazar's ear January 20th going, listen, hey, if they don't get it, let's arrest them. And if they don't let us arrest them, let's just kill them. I could see that. This is your loony left, guys. Now me, I'm a guy that if you want to get a vaccine, get it. You don't want to get it, don't get it. That's me, right? The only vaccine that I truly think we need, now RFK Jr., I know you're not watching, but listen, let me say your name one more time. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Hopefully that'll get somebody's ear. Listen, do me a favor. The only vaccine we truly need is one for Trump derangement syndrome. Those people are nuts. They're crazy. We've already seen somebody try to assassinate Trump. We've already seen somebody show up with a gun to try to assassinate Trump. We just saw the Trump hotel attempted blow up. So there are people out there on a regular daily basis trying to kill President Trump. And when you go on any of these social media places, the Trump derangement syndrome is absolutely real. That RFK Jr., that's a vaccine we need. We need a vaccine for Trump derangement syndrome. You call it TDS vac. Work on that. That one I'll sign off on. You people are nuts, man. Absolutely crazy. So, just wanted to give everybody a little look into what possibly be coming in 2025. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope that this just kind of flies the coop, right? This is bird flu. It's a nice little play. So I hope that everything that they're building up right now, Trump gets into office, washes it, and says, look, sorry, maybe approve the vaccine or whatever and say, look, if you want it, go ahead. If you don't want it, don't get it, whatever it is. You know, like I said, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti-pushing your agenda on people. So I wouldn't even care if they went through with the vaccine and the bird flu and you offered it to people. That's what you want to do. Great, have at it. But don't force people to take it. So I'm hoping I'm wrong here, guys. I just wanted to make everybody aware as to what's going on, what's been talked about. It started in March. Actually, it started in March in Texas on a farm and has grown all the way now through California, declaring a state of emergency, over 37 cases. And we're looking at the Queen of Vaccines, Dr. Wen, already pushing for a vaccine program. CDC, United States government, working together to implement a vaccine distribution program. And 2 vaccines that just need FDA approval and ready to go. So again, I hope I'm wrong. We'll see what 2025 brings. But no matter what 2025 brings, the Lord above, He's watching each and every one of us. He's got a plan for each and every one of us. So going into 2025, give God His grace. Make sure that you're doing your part. Do your best. And I'm just going to keep fighting a good fight, guys. That's all I have for today. I want to say thank you to everybody that's watching. Happy New Year to everybody that's watching. Again, you guys are doing a great job out there. We're turning America back to sanity again. I love it. Keep going out. Keep educating everybody. Tell them we're not social influencers, guys. We're social educators. Keep going out and educating. Doing what you're doing. Super happy. We want to grow this army of social educators here at the Very Just the Guy show. Until I see you next time, I'm going to pray for you. Love each and every one of you. I'm going to pray out.